of the Make America Great Again dream, saying that America is back during his address at the Capitol Hill as he announced that there will be tax cuts for everybody and promises to balance the federal budget as well. And this is how Donald Trump, Shinjoy, seems to be doubling down on his ambitious agendas. His administration already going on with mass layoffs across the federal workforce, imposing new tariffs on allies, and a foreign policy that has also unsettled Europe. Shinjoy.
Yes, the first and most important thing clearly was the letter from Zelensky. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has written to Donald Trump saying, yes, we can go ahead with your peace efforts. Now, how far that will go, what the shape of that peace effort will be, what eventually will happen between Russia and Ukraine remains to be seen. But the fact that this letter has got written suggests that Ukraine is willing to come to the table, and we can see three countries working together to look at peace: America, Ukraine, Russia. Now, how this will pan out, we will get to know later. But the fact that the letter has been written is very important. Now, as far as India is concerned, there was this issue of tariffs. President Trump spoke about the fact that on some issues, on some articles, India has imposed 100% tariff. Now, he wants these tariffs to go, and he says from the 2nd of April, we are looking at reciprocal tariffs, which means that anything India exports or certain things India exports to America will be facing tariffs in the same way that American goods coming to India face tariffs. So that is going to happen from the 2nd of April, he says. But what we do know is that we have told America, we have told President Trump that, look, we have already reduced tariffs on the motorcycles. But let's talk about this, let's keep talking about this, and let's arrive at a solution. Apart from these things, Pakistan came up in the conversation. China, of course, many times. One of the terrorists who was involving in killing Americans as they were leaving Afghanistan has been arrested by the Pakistanis and has been sent across to America. But that apart, a lot of it was domestic policy. Number one, the borders have been secured, he says. Number two, taxes are going to be cut. Number three, the economy will get all the assistance necessary. Domestic industry, domestic trade will get all the help necessary. Fourthly, issues that relate to defense. He wants a stronger America. He wants tough policies against any criminal activity. And he's made specific cases. Here are people who did wrong, and this is what has to be done.
Well, at least on occasion, as far as where India was mentioned, not during the time when it comes to what he's been calling it as wastage of billions and billions of US dollars when it comes to aid and funding other countries. However, during his State of the Union address at the Capitol Hill on Tuesday night, US President Donald Trump called tariffs a beautiful word. He has said that he will impose 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican import of goods into the US and even impose tariffs on Chinese goods and Indian goods in reciprocal taxation measures. Let's listen to it.
On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market.
While Rishabh is also connected with us, and Dr. Michael Owens also continues to be with us. Dr. Michael, what do you make of today's address of Donald Trump? Because he's been speaking of American ancestors, praising their past achievements. The president says that it is now time to begin the most thrilling days in the history of the country. And over the next course of 4 years, he says that we are going to lead this nation even higher.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Anytime President Trump is talking, particularly in a situation like this, you really have to separate fact from fiction, right? Take away the hyperbole of things that he talks about, that once fact checkers get a hold of it, we'll understand that it's not the fact. He definitely, wants to play the strongman in this solution across the world. And that's why he took so much pride in talking about the letter that President Zelensky sent over, basically saying he wants to do a deal after getting kicked out of the White House. In a lot of ways, it's unfortunate that the tax that the president is taking, because I truly believe that looking at alternative solutions, particularly around trade, talking about smart trade, but instead the president has clearly made it the fact that he's up for trade wars. It seems like anywhere and everywhere, anyone's who's up for it, he is going to go after it. But instead of being a protagonist about policies that isolate the U.S. And that raise costs, cause countries to not have forward-looking strategies, we really should be looking from the U.S. about strengthening our own domestic industries and how we can be better partners abroad. Investing in local infrastructure that we need here in the U.S., but also looking to negotiate fair multilateral trade agreements is something you just don't hear from President Trump. Looking to provide targeted relief for certain industries that we have here, and we do have countries here that are suffering and need help. But there's also a global competitiveness that I think that he doesn't really look towards when looking at where he'd like to go with this. So, it's really frustrating for me to hear him really talk about withdrawing from the World Health Organization, right, the WHO, withdrawing from the Paris Accords, and then this long litany of discussion points that he made talking about, English is going to now be our official language, renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, attacking DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion efforts, and obviously that long tirade that he went on talking about wasteful spending. And I think most of that was targeted at USAID, but I don't think had the context necessary to really talk about why some of those things were being spent.
And obviously, he did also appreciate Elon Musk and the work that is being done by DOGE, but also going on to say that the US will become the most dominant civilization, and probably the loudest applause that we heard when he said that they will be also planting the American flag on Mars. Rishabh, who is connected with us right now, because Rishabh, here also President Trump has gone on to criticize Europe, saying that it has spent more money on Russian oil than it has gone on aiding Ukraine. However, in comparison, he says that US has given billions and billions of US dollars in aid to Ukraine. Now are we looking at a resolution in sight after that very televised confrontation that happened between him and President Zelensky?
Well, I'm definitely. Toward the end of his address at the joint session in Congress, Donald Trump came to Ukraine and said that we don't want the war to go on for 5 years. We want the peace to come in as quick as possible. He even attacked the European countries, saying that you have spent more money on actually buying the energy from Russia than aiding Ukraine in this war. And we have seen that. In last 1 week, how has things changed? Last Friday, we saw that televised exchange of harsh words between Ukrainian leader and the United States leader, Since then, we have seen the Europe galvanizing together, the meeting happening in London, and then we heard from different leaders. Yesterday, we spoke to the defense minister and foreign minister of Belgium as well, who are in India, and they both say that they are ready to do anything to aid Ukraine. Canada is on the same line. Now, United States, President has clearly sent a message that what Ukraine is doing is not enough, and actually calling their double face on the issue of Ukraine as well, that you are buying energy from Russia and
Right.
Also aiding
But
Ukraine.
we'll focus more on the Indian context also there, as far as when did Donald Trump actually also mention India during his address? Because Donald Trump, who has imposed 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican import of goods into the U.S., which has come into effect, and even imposed tariffs on Chinese goods in reciprocal taxation, this is where he also mentioned India.
On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market.
So President Trump announcing that reciprocal tariffs will kick in from the 2nd of April. He's called himself as highly superstitious, and whatever they tariff us, we will tariff them. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. This is in particular as far as where India comes into context. We'll stay on with this coverage, requesting our guests to continue to be with us. Heading into a very short break, we'll discuss more on the President of the United States and his address today.
Co-presented by Premium Plus by Century.